Joel Goodman, August going to be very busy for you. You're up at the Edinburgh Festival. Tell us about the two shows that you're taking up there.
Well, it's already busy. I'm busy promoting two shows as we speak online, and I'm taking up Alan Turing, a musical biography, which has been running for a year. It sold out in 2022 at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and has since been on a UK tour, most recently at the Other Palace, next to where Heathers is performing. We were in the same space, so that was amazing. And also a brand new show called Apple of My Eye. Nobody's seen it yet, only me.
So the uninitiated, basics, for those who may not know, Alan Turing, the musical biography, what's it about? Give a little bit of background of Alan Turing.
Yeah, so Alan Turing, a musical biography, covers a broad outline of Alan's life. It takes us from when he was at school up until his death, and we really see how life was for him. He was a bit of an outsider at school, and perhaps his genius mind was not seen that early by his school teachers. He was very successful at university, studying at Cambridge and then Princeton. And then he was a hero in World War II, although nobody really knew it in his lifetime other than those that worked with him. And then sadly, you know, how appallingly he was treated for being a gay man in the 1950s and actually, you know, sentenced in court to chemical castration. So it takes us through his whole life.
But it's a musical. So,
it's a musical, yeah, it is.
So how is it? Is it? I know there's been a film as well. Is this quite a sad story to tell, or is it an uplifting? Is it what's the message?
Well, you know, a good musical has light and shade, and there are aspects of his life which need to be celebrated. His genius mind, and also the way in which he maybe saw the world differently to some people. He spotted patterns in nature, the Fibonacci series, which is that wonderful spiral that gets bigger and bigger. And he spotted these patterns in nature. So some of the songs are celebratory, and others, of course, are really quite hard-hitting. And I want them to be hard-hitting. I want the audience to think, God, that poor man to have been treated that way. So there are many different types of songs within this musical.
Edinburgh Festival, World's Largest Arts Festival. It's the world's largest arts festival. There are 3,500 shows on. How do you get your show to stand out from the other 3,500?
I don't want to give away too many secrets in case some of my competitors are watching, but it's exhausting. It is really, really exhausting. I'm working so hard presently to create content on a daily basis. I'm posting about my show all the time. Of course, your subject matter is where one starts as well. Some shows are really hard to sell at the Fringe. If people haven't been to the Royal Mile before, there's all these people giving you leaflets, come and see my show, come and see my show. And some of them can be really dark and depressing, and you think, oh, I don't really want to see a show about that. I do believe that the topics I've picked are quite popular. Alan Turing's life, we're very interested in that because of what he did for our country in World War II, and of course by how he was treated. Steve Jobs, I mean, so many people own an Apple product, and again, I think his life was interesting as well.
And what's it like? Apple of My Eye, you've got a preview down at the Victoria Hall Theatre in Old Harlem on
Saturday, this weekend.
What's it like? What's the challenge of having two shows? What's that like?
It's been huge. I've questioned why I've done this to myself. I was just speaking to the actor yesterday who's finished rehearsals now. And I said to him, now that you've finished rehearsals, I said, I can tell you this. I said, there was a point in this process where I thought, I'm just going to pay you and cancel the show because it's a real weight on my shoulders. And bringing a new show to Edinburgh has also been more difficult than I expected because I'm also bringing an established and successful show, and it's made me feel really self-conscious of bringing new work with me.
How will you gauge success for both shows?
Oh, you ask the best questions. I love your questions. So there's two main elements. One is pretty obvious, money. Doing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, so expensive, and I'm just a music teacher. And I put my heart and soul and every penny I earn into this. I go there expecting to lose it all, because I think if you're a producer, you have to be willing or in a safe position to lose all your money. It's a very, very risky business. So I would love to recoup the money I've put towards these shows, and they're really expensive: accommodation, theatre hire, paying actors. I would love to see some of that money come back, and so that I can continue to make theatre. And the other aspect, which I'm very fortunate that I'm starting to achieve, is critical acclaim. I just had my first ever 5-star review in the London warm-up of Alan Turing, and I would love to receive some more critical acclaim. Who doesn't love to hear people say you're really good? It's a wonderful feeling when people recognise your hard work. So they're the two aspects for me that will decide if this year's festival's been a success.
And how do you take criticism? Are you ready?
It's really hard. It's really, really hard. I'm getting better at it. But, you know, I was heartbroken last year. In Alan Turing's, the first version last year, it had a mixture of reviews. It had from 2 stars to 4 stars. And I focused on the 2 stars. You know, they really hit hard. And actually, it was on the very first day of the Fringe. And I carried that with me through most of the festival. But it has driven me to reshape the show, as the show is now in version 3. So it's changed drastically. And on its last outing, the show received 2 4-star reviews and a 5-star review. And that was really reassuring after so much hard work going in.
People who don't know, you know, these venues are every nook and cranny of Edinburgh that's quite a small, relatively small area, and you're not in a massive amphitheatre, are you? You're in a
no. Well, yes. I mean, this year actually we've taken on a theatre for Alan Turing that's 2.5 times bigger than last year. Last year my capacity was 42, and this year my capacity is about 114. So we've got quite a lot of seats available for Alan Turing. They are going nice and fast, I'm glad to report. And then the new show is going into exactly what you said, a nook and cranny of a theatre, a very small theatre with 3 rows of seats. It's a lovely theatre. It's called Paradise in the Vault, and it's in the basement of a church.
But you must be really, in many ways, you know, you're looking forward to this. It's a great platform. It's a great opportunity, isn't it? The world's biggest arts festival.
It really is. It's, as a performer or a creative person, you're stepping into the unknown, and the journey I've been on for the last year, I couldn't have imagined. I didn't go there expecting anything to come out of the festival. I took my show there because I love writing and I love the festival. But it was seen by people who said, could you bring this to my theatre? And the show has had a journey, and it's developed, and it's created its own momentum. And in fact, in 2024, it's going to the West End for 1 week so far.
I was about to say those words of wishing you well, but I won't. I'll keep to the superstition. Do you hope in the future? I was watching binging something called The Sixth Commandment last night, which was on BBC One, a play. And when I saw the writer had also written a very British scandal about Jeremy Thorpe, which Hugh Grant was in. And I thought, oh, that's the characteristic. I could see the connection. Do you hope now or in the future people will say, that's a Joel Goodman?
Well, it would be lovely. I mean, I think the dream, I think, for most creative people is that it could become something that, you know, puts food on your table. I can't live off of my productions or my composing. I would love to have the luxury of more time to write, and the only way that's really possible is if it becomes a form of income. I love writing. It's something I truly love, and at the moment I juggle that with a busy life of my job and my family. So I would love to become established enough for people to know, oh, that's maybe Joel Goodman wrote that. That would be a really amazing point in my career if I get to that place.
Joel, thank you for giving us your time. We look forward to seeing you in Edinburgh in a few weeks.